All right, good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. We're going to start a little early at 4:20. As you can see, it is now 4:15 and our skaters or our floaters are checking for gear check. If you were here for our first bout, you may have noticed that there was a special penalty. In this summer fun double header, there is an additional rule that you must have your floaty on. If your floaty drops to the ground, the skater will receive a penalty called failure to float and be sent to the penalty box. Additionally, in this level 3 exhibition game, there will be an additional penalty if the face of the floaty is not pointed in the direction the skater is headed, and that will also be considered a penalty for failure to float. We're going to get started in about 4 minutes. Grab a delicious lemonade or some other refreshment and find a seat. Got wonderful seats here in the Madhouse. We'll begin in about 3 minutes and 49 seconds. All right, with 1 minute to Derby, we have 2 teams skating for poolside rampage. 00 miscreant. Number 729 Oliver Twisted. 444 Batty. Number 103 Sugar Rush. Number 508 Midnight Smack. Number 47 Garcia. Number 125. Number 13 Sandy Cheeks. Dakota Stabby, and number 18 Intoxicate. And skating for Coastal Knockouts, we've got number 03, Collateral Damage, number 22, Nono Rolls, number 888, Risky Gamble, number 666, Ashtastic, Rolling Thunder, number 99, Nazgul, 505, Tiki Punch, 19, Sunscream, 47, Time Bomb, and number 45, Zombie Basher. Right, we've got a floaty change. Jamming in our first bout. For poolside is 00 Miscreant up against Rolling Thunder of the Coastal Knockouts. In our first bout, we have Rolling Thunder as lead jammer. Right, lining up for our second bout, we have 666, Ashtastic, and Nazgul jamming. Nazgul recycled by Oliver Twisted, Ashtastic as well. Ashtastic out as lead jammer. We have a star pass to 888, Risky Gamble. Ashtastic looking for a way around Nazgul. And Time Bomb. Off the brails, serving a penalty. Risky Gamble sent to the penalty box. All right, up next in our next bout, in our next jam, Power Start for Coastal Knockouts. They're starting with Garcia, looking for a way through. Poolside Rampage. Garcia sent to the penalty box as Risky Gamble moves in. Risky looking for an opening, attempts an apex jump. Recycled. And Risky out lead jammer. That took a couple of minutes to establish a lead jammer position. That shows how good our blockers are in this bout. And Garcia making it through for initial pass. Minimart debuting as a referee. Recent graduate from our juniors. Right, jamming for Coastal Knockouts, we have Rolling Thunder. And for Poolside Rampage number 29, Dakota. Dakota out as lead jammer for Poolside Rampage. Right behind Dakota, Rolling Thunder finding that opening. Nazgul sent to the penalty box. And Dakota calls the end of that jam. Right, jamming for Poolside is Batty, number 10 Rant. And for Coastal Knockouts, we have Collateral Damage out as lead. Jammer for jam number 5. Batty making their way around Risky Gamble. Batty rocking a purple or lavender crab. Collateral Damage calling the end of that bout. Or end of that jam, excuse me. Jamming for Poolside Rampage, we have Miscreant. And for Coastal Knockouts, Nano Rolls. Nano Rolls finding an opening. Skating with these floaties appear to create additional obstacles for our jammers. They must maintain their floaties. Each team has a blocker in the penalty sandbox. And we have a star pass from Miscreant. To number 13, Sandy Cheeks. Right, there was no appropriate star pass, and so Rolling Thunder will have a power start for Coastal Knockouts as Miscreant begins in the penalty sandbox. And Rolling Thunder with an apex jump on the inside. Floating through the initial pass. Miscreant joining Rolling Thunder. Rolling Thunder powering through the floating obstacles past Oliver Twisted. Miscreant back in the penalty sandbox. Power Jam, Coastal Knockouts. Rolling Thunder being recycled. That crab is quite the obstacle on the track. Miscreant back from her penalty. All right, jamming for Coastal, we have 0-3 collateral damage. And for Poolside Rampage, number 11, Stabby. You don't want to get stabby with your floaty. Collateral damage sent to the penalty box for a cut. And Stabby being sent to the penalty box. We cannot have two jammers in the penalty box. We've got a bunch of blockers waiting, floating on. Collateral damage, pushing through the inside with the spin. Lead jammer. Collateral damage. Or no lead. No lead. This jam will go to time. The benefit to having a floaty with no head on it is you don't have to worry if your floaty's head is facing in the direction that you are skating. Stabby finding her way almost through to the front of the blockers floats. Stabby pushing her way through. Collateral damage recycled by Batty to the back. Batty's crab not allowing collateral damage much leeway. All right, jamming and jam number 9. We have number 29, Dakota, and number, we don't know, Skittles. Skittles and Dakota recycled. Skittles recycled by Oliver Twisted. Dakota out as lead jammer in jam number 9, first period of this second bout. Dakota recycled by Nono Rolls. Miscreant holding back Skittles. Dakota finding an opening with his tire floaty. And we have a star pass from Skittles to Risky Gamble. That is the end of jam number 9. Dakota picking up 7 points for Poolside Rampage. Jamming for Poolside, we have Intoxicate. And for Coastal Knockouts, in red, we have Sandy Cheeks. Sandy Cheeks covered by some tea leaves there. Intoxicate. Rocking that bee floaty. Does Intoxicate also sting? Intoxicate making another pass for 4 points. As Sandy Cheeks pulls their heels and floaties in the penalty sandbox. Intoxicate picks up another 4 points. Some of these skaters have to keep in mind that their floating needs to be faced in the right direction. Zombie Blaster fixed her floaty. So another 4 points to Coastal Knockouts. Coastal Knockouts picking up 12 in that jam. Jamming for Poolside Rampage, we have 444 Batty, and for Coastal Knockouts, we have number 61 Time Bomb, and we're now into an official timeout. We're going to take this moment to shout out to Cosmic Exchange. Looking for products and experience to uplift your spiritual journey? Look no further than Cosmic Exchange, your one-stop intergalactic shop. We'd also like to thank IBEW 280, the International Brotherhood of Electrical Workers, are proud to support Sparky on the track while empowering our community since 1928. Local contractors and family wages. That's IBEW 280. As our official timeout is coming to an end, we'd like to shout out to Stephanie Palmblad and Willamette Valley Legacy Law. Willamette Legacy Law, expert real estate planning for every move. Roll with confidence. Craft your estate planning with precision. All right, we're moving back into Derby. We've got Time Bomb jamming. Time Bomb jamming for Coastal Knockouts. Sandy Cheeks starting in the penalty box. This will be a possible power start for Time Bomb. Oh, someone lost their floaty. The failure to float. That's just a fun penalty. It does not count toward fouling out. Poolside Rampage with 2 in the sandbox. Time Bomb trying to work their way through a blocker. Poolside Rampage lost another blocker. That crab is difficult to get around. Sandy Cheeks finding their way around. Star pass to Rolling Thunder. Sandy Cheeks calls the end of the bout. After picking up 2 points. Jamming for Poolside Rampage, we have Dakota up against Nazgul for Coastal Knockouts. This summer fun bout, further complicated by floaties. Dakota managing to float on by in his tire tube. Nazgul looking for an opening. Not being able to get past number 11 Stabby. You don't want your floaty to be stabbied. Nazgul recycled by Oliver Twisted to the back. And Dakota sent to the penalty box. We have no lead jammer. This jam will go to time. Zombie Bash. Star pass, pick up, initial pass. Four seconds left in the jam. And Zombie Bash picked up a track cut sent to the penalty box. All right, we are off with Batty in a power start. Batty looking for their way around collateral damage. Collateral Damage being assisted by Nano Rolls and Risky Gamble. Postal not allowing Batty. They're not giving Batty an easy way through here. Batty finds a way through anyway, only to be blocked again by Collateral Damage and Nano Rolls. Rolling Thunder joining in. In Derby, speed is everything. And Batty. Lee Jammer. Batty with an opportunity for a power jam. Batty calls that. Oliver Twisted jamming for Poolside Rampage. Sunscream up for Coastal Knockout. Oliver Twisted, Lee Jammer floating straight past the blockers from Coastal Knockout. Right, jamming in jam number 15, we have Ashtastic recycled back by Collateral Damage. Nazgul fighting their way through the blockers from Poolside Rampage. Ashtastic finding that opening, leading Nazgul trying to push through Oliver Twisted. Both jammers being blocked. And Nazgul makes it through. And we are at intermission. As a reminder, allow our officials, skaters, and coaches priority in the facilities. Stop by our snack box, visit our merch table, take a picture with the surfing unicorn and post it online. Enjoy your 15-minute intermission. We'll see you back here in about 14 and a half minutes. All right, skaters should be finding their way back to the track for a gear check. We start our second period in about 3 minutes. All right, we are starting our gear check. Intermission is over in about 33 seconds. We hope you enjoyed your intermission. In this exhibition double header, we have some fun things happening for this last bout. If you haven't noticed, all of our skaters are floating with floaties. In addition to the normal rules of junior roller derby, our skaters must keep their floaties on while they float on our track. And the heads of their floaty must be facing in the direction that they are skating. We're also going to have some fun stuff in our second bout. Look out for a pool party. Who here likes pool parties? Does anybody like pool parties? That's what I like to hear. All right, we've got Dakota and Sunscream jamming in our first jam for the second period. Dakota recycled. Sunscream attempting to push their way through the poolside rampage blockers or floaters. Sunscream recycled by Midnight Smack. Now, what do you all think? Does it matter the size of the floaty? If you were skating, would you want a big floaty or a little floaty? Dakota being held back there by collateral damage. Risky gamble. And somebody with a B floaty. Sunscream trying to make their way around Midnight Smack and the Crab. Stabby sent to the penalty box. Sunscream recycled by Oliver Twisted. Dakota heading straight into Risky Gamble. All right, in our second jam, we have Rolling Thunder jamming for Coastal Knockouts and Miscreant jamming for Poolside Rampage. Rolling Thunder found a wide opening to roll through on the outside, establishing lead jammer position. Miscreant following shortly behind. We had our official clean off our track from any loose pieces of tape. This is a summer fun jam, not a sticky track jam. Miscreant serving a penalty. Rolling Thunder attempts to roll past Stabby. Rolling Thunder running into Batty. Miscreant completing the penalty. Miscreant for initial pass. Also picking up 4 points. Miscreant picking up another 4 points. For the end of that jam. Lighting up for Poolside Rampage, we have Oliver Twisted. And number 45 for Coastal Knockout, Zombie Basher. Oliver Twisted recycled by collateral damage. Zombie Basher zigzagging, looking for that opening, unable to get around. Now she has gotten around. Midnight Smack, however, being sent to the penalty box. We have a star pass from Oliver Twisted to Dakota. Oliver Twisted to Dakota. Dakota lead jammer. Dakota running straight into Intoxicate. Dakota making it past the floater blockers of Coastal Knockouts. Zombie Bash floating on to the track and straight through for Zombie Bash's initial pass. Dakota pushed out by Intoxicate. Dakota making it past Intoxicate, and Zombie Basher picking up 2 points for the end of that jam. All right, jamming for Poolside Rampage, we've got number 11, Stabby. And for Coastal Knockouts, number 42, 45, 47, Time Bomb. Both jammers looking for a way past the floating blockers. Stabby stabbing their way through. Lead jammer in jam number 4. We have a star pass to Risky Gamble. Stabby sent to the penalty box. We have no lead jammer. This jam will go to time for the full 2.5 minutes. Some of our refs have joined in on the fun. Our skating refs, Geyser, Nova, Mini Mart, and Titan are also wearing floaties. Stabby trying to make her way around Rolling Thunder and gang. Risky will begin the next jam in the penalty box. Oh, I hear we are having a pool party. All skaters on the rink, all skaters. We still will have one jammer and one blocker for each team. Ashtastic being swarmed by a horde. Risky Gamble finding their way around the horde of floaties. This is a pool party. Our rink is congested with skaters and floaters and floaties. And we have a star pass to Batty. Batty finding Batty's way through the horde of floaters skating on the rink. Batty skating through as well. That was 7 points to Coastal Knockout and 9 points to Poolside Rampage. That's what's happened. That's what happens when you have a pool party. All right, we've got the Broil skating for Coastal Knockout and Dakota skating for Poolside Rampage. Dakota floating their way past Sunscream, Lead Jammer in jam number 6. Sunscreen being sent to the penalty box. Cyber Slice ready to join their teammates on the track. Dakota picking up another 4 points as Tiki Punch is trying to punch their way through floaters. Tiki Punch recycled by Batty. And now it is time for another official timeout. We want to give a shout out to Oregon Freddy Mobile DJ. Oregon Freddy Mobile DJ is a solo run wedding and event experience rooted in good vibes, smooth flows, and effortless coordination. From ceremony to last dance, Freddy brings energy, heart, and precision of someone who truly cares. Now booking for 2026. Dates for couples who want a DJ that is professional, present, and just the right amount of fun. Oregon Freddy Mobile DJ. We also want to thank our officials, both skating and non-skating. Our skating officials are Shutter, Captain Crunch, Titan, Nova, and Riley. Our non-skating officials we'd like to thank are Pinky, Suzuka, Bad Things, Mini Mark, and Little Trouble. All right, we are back to Derby, Rolling Thunder, jamming for Coastal Knockouts, and Oliver Twisted leading now for Poolside Rampage. Rolling Thunder having trouble getting around Midnight Smack and her crab floaty. Oliver Twisted picking up 4 points. Rolling Thunder on the initial pass. Coastal Knockout losing their pivot to the penalty box. This is a tight game. 76 to 83 Coastal Knockouts. with 16 minutes left on the clock. Dakota jamming again for Poolside Rampage. And Skittles jamming for Coastal Knockouts. Dakota finding an opening past Intoxicate. Skittles being held back by Batty and crew. Skittles making it past the floaters and straight into the penalty box. Dakota held back by Intoxicate with an assist from Batty, recycled by Intoxicate. Dakota breaking through. Dakota trying to push their way through Intoxicate. Batty assisting. Dakota calling the end of jam number 8. Jamming for Coastal Knockouts, we have number 22, Nono Rolls. And for Poolside Rampage, we have Oliver Twisted. Oliver Twisted through the middle. Lead jammer. Nono Rolls looks for a way past that crab, and she finds a way zigzagging through the floating blockers. Jam called by Oliver Twisted before Nono could pick up any points. That was a 1-point jam. And we are almost tied 83 to 84. This is a nail biter. Right, number 11, Stabby, jamming for Poolside, and Rolling Thunder, rolling out for Coastal Knockouts. Rolling Thunder pushed into the crab by Nazgul, looking for a way around. Midnight Smack. Stabby recycled. Rolling Thunder being held back by Oliver Twisted. Rolling Thunder twisting around Oliver Twisted. Lead jammer. Oliver Twisted picking up the star pass from Stabby. And Oliver Twisted sent to the penalty box. Power Jam, Coastal Knockouts. Rolling Thunder recycled by Miscreant as Oliver Twisted joins the track. That is the end of jam number 10. Lining up for jam number 11, we have number 3, Collateral Damage for Coastal Knockouts. And number 47, Garcia, jamming for Poolside Rampage. Collateral Damage out as lead skater, finding an opening on the inside. Garcia shortly behind them. Oliver Twisted also on the inside, finding trouble from Batty and calling the end of that jam after picking up 4 points. And our score is now 83-100. Pool Party. Jamming for Coastal Knockouts, we have Rolling Thunder, and jamming for Poolside Rampage, Dakota. This is an opportunity for the jammer to pick up multiple points in one lap. There are many floaties to push your way through, jam your way through them floaties. We have a floating blocker sent to the penalty box. The only rule change in a pool party is that all skaters are on the track. We still have one jammer and one pivot. Dakota recycled by Intoxiskate. Sandy Cheeks being sent to the penalty box. Remember, all skaters must be wearing their floaty. If they drop their floaty, it is a modified penalty called failure to float. Rolling Thunder recycled back by Midnight Smack. Dakota pushing through, trying to get past Intoxiskate, recycled back by Intoxiskate. Intoxiskate taking Dakota all the way to the back. Rolling Thunder breaking through. All right, we're going to take a timeout. All right, we're going to take a timeout. We're going to need a medic over by the announcer's booth, please. Our medic is assessing the situation and providing appropriate aid to the skater. No, we need a timeout. All right, we are back with Derby. Nano rolls out as lead skater in jam number 13. Garcia looking for that opening. Garcia running into trouble with Intoxicate and Risky Gamble. We have two jammers making their way around the track, and Nano rolls Apex Jump picks up no more points. Right, Collateral Damage jamming for Coastal Knockouts. Dakota jamming for Poolside Rampage. And Collateral Damage out as lead skater. On their heels, Dakota. 2 points picked up by Collateral Damage for Coastal Knockout. Call that jam. Jamming for Coastal Knockout, we have number 18, Intoxicate. And starting way back is 00 Miscreant, jamming for Poolside Rampage. Poolside Rampage, lead jammer, Miscreant, on their heels, Intoxicate. One point to Poolside Rampage. 0 points, sorry. We're going to shout out to our coaches and lifeguards. Coaching for Coastal Knockouts, we have CJ Crusher and Ferris Wheels. Coaching for Poolside Rampage, we have Tiny Tank and Havoc. Sorry, we had a little musical glitch there. All right, that is the end of our official timeout. We'll make a quick shout out again to Stephanie Palmblatt of Willamette Valley Legacy Real Estate. Plan your estate with precision. Willamette Valley. All right, jamming for Poolside Rampage, we have Garcia and Skittles jamming for Coastal Knockouts. Skittle knocking out into lead jammer position. Garcia sent to the penalty box. Skittles lead jammer. Back from penalty is Oliver Twisted. Skittles floating their way through the blocking floaters. All right, we've got another pool party. All of our floaters are on the track, jamming for coastal knockouts, collateral damage, and for poolside rampage, Dakota. And collateral damage out as lead jammer. Dakota looking for that opening. Collateral damage. Busting straight through. That is 10 points scored in that pool party. And we have a star pass to Batty. Batty making their way through. And that is the end of the pool party. We've got less than 30 seconds left in this final jam. And we've got a timeout. Timeout. One more jam. Jamming for Coastal, we have Nazgul. And jamming for the final jam for Poolside Rampage. That Oliver Twisted needs a star on their head. All right, we've got 7 seconds. One final jam. Nazgul for the outside lead jammer. Oliver Twisted down the center, trying to pass and trying to pass a Risky Gamble. And Oliver Twisted passes all blockers. Nazgul floating their way around. Skaters floating around the track. This is going to time, perhaps. Oliver Twisted in the penalty box. Nazgul power jam. Nazgul picking up 4 points with 1 minute left on the clock. The period is over, but not until the jam is complete. Nazgul continuing on. Oliver Twisted for another pass. Nazgul calling the end of the jam. Our unofficial score 91 to 154. Poolside Rampage versus Coastal Knockouts. The win goes to Coastal Knockouts. We hope you had fun, and our final score is 91. Poolside Rampage 154. Coastal Knockouts. All right, let's hear it for Poolside Rampage and Coastal Knockouts.